Bismillah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We thank Allah tonight that we can meet again, and tonight we're gonna talk about the second Caliph, inshallah, and also peace and blessing and salutation to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, so it was last month we talked about the best man ever walk on earth after Rasulullah SAW, which is Abu Bakr. And today we talk the second Caliph, Umar ibn Khattab Radhi'Allah Annhu. I just before we start, this. So always the first few minutes always nervous. So you need some level of nervousness. I was telling Brother Adil before we started, it was probably 2 nights in a row. I was preparing for this because I always prepare something fresh, something new, and I try to have different angle. And I think for the last 2 nights, I was going to show you my Fitbit, my sleeping record actually, to prove you that. Right? For the last 2 nights, I went to bed around probably 2 o'clock. I was preparing these slides, and then I'm reading. I have 3 books about Umar ibn Khattab Radhi'Allah Annhu, and it's very hard to do justice to talk about him in only 1 hour. It's very hard to do that justice, and may Allah give me clarity to to share the story of the life of Umar bin Khattab Radhi'Allah Anhu. And then I think last night I was just get carried away, and I was reading until 1:30 and stuff like that. It was really amazing, and how he became a role model, and how his story is actually preserved and everything. And it's amazing how someone who set off to kill Rasulullah SAW and end up actually buried next to Rasulullah SAW. This is the story of Umar bin Khattab Radhi'Allah Anhu. All right, let's start. I found a hadith in Sunan Tirmidhi. It was classified as Hasan. Rasulullah SAW mentioned, if there were to be a prophet after me, it would be Umar bin Khattab. And of course, this is classified as Hasan, but there is also a similar hadith in Sahih Bukhari, when Rasulullah mentioned, at the time of Bani Israel, there is one particular people, they are very rightly guided, but they're not prophet. Many of them in Bani Israel, but if in my ummah, there will be Umar bin Khattab. So it's the same thing. So this is someone that is very high profile. And there was a hadith about when Ali bin Abi Talib was asked who is the best man, and Ali bin said it was Rasulullah SAW. After Rasulullah means Abu Bakr and then Umar. So Umar is the second best. And then it is unambiguously, that's the right word I'm looking at. The Sunnah wal Jama'ah agree that Umar bin Khattab is one of the best example, and then how his story is preserved for, inshallah, that we can learn. I pick up some of the life stories that I think worth sharing, and especially in the life of what we are having and what we're facing these days, and probably we can extract some of the benefit, inshallah. All right, we're going to talk about 4 things. First of all, his lineage and titles, and how he's been called. I think everyone knows he's also called Al-Faruq, right? But there's a lot of things been mentioned about him, but there's not many people know. For example, there was a hadith Rasulullah SAW in a dream where he was given milk. It was, I think it's Sahih Bukhari. He was given a milk, and he drank it, and he gave to Umar bin Khattab. Umar bin Khattab drank and drank and drank, and then all the sahaba asked, "What was that, Ya Rasulullah?" Knowledge. So Umar bin Khattab was blessed by Allah with a lot of knowledge. The Islamic empire, if you want to call it empire, Islamic civilizations, everything actually grows and expands and grows and expands during the reign of Umar bin Khattab. So Allah blessed him with that. A lot of things, one of the legacies, I probably divided into legacies, the religious legacy, political legacy, as well as the other legacy that we're going to talk about at the end. Then we're going to talk about some of the life events. Of course, we're not going to fill into 1 hour, but I just pick up some of the things that probably you've heard before. That is probably not, probably no harm of sharing that again. Probably we can see from different angle. And we talk about some of the things that he achieved during his caliphate, and what sort of legacy that Umar bin Khattab leaves for us. All right. Rasulullah SAW, sorry, the Umar ibn Khattab Radhi'Allah Anhu was born uh, about 13 years after Rasulullah. So he's about 13 years younger. If you think about it, right, Abu Bakr was 2 years younger than Rasulullah. And when did Abu Bakr die? 2 years after Rasulullah died. Umar bin Khattab was 13 years younger than Rasulullah. When did Umar bin Khattab die? 13 years after Rasulullah died. So these three noble men, right? They buried the same vicinity, the same place, and they're about the same age. And his grandfather, which is Umar bin Khattab bin Nufail, right? I'm just gonna tell you he's from Bani Adi, and Bani Adi, there's a couple of sub-tribes within Quraysh. There's a Bani Hashim where Rasulullah comes from. There's Bani Adi, Bani Makhzum, and Bani Adi was not the very popular one. His grandfather is Nufail. His father is Khattab. There's a lot of narrations about how Khattab actually raised Umar, and he was very harsh, very out loud and spoken and everything. So it's very crude too. So he was actually raised not a perfect family. And then his mother Humtana is actually from the Bani Makhzum, and Humtana actually is the brother of the father of Abu Jahal. So Abu Jahal as well as Khalid bin Walid, right? So that's from the Bani Makhzum. So they're actually very close relationship to that. So I'll give you the three. I draw the three, the relationship between the lineage of Umar bin Khattab and Rasulullah SAW. And as almost everyone at that time, they became separate at a young age. And all right, this is the lineage. Rasulullah SAW met Umar bin Khattab. I have to get closer. Oh, okay. Should I close? Should I hold it? Then let me put my note. I have to cut some trees tonight because for some reason my Microsoft PowerPoint cannot switch into note, so I have to print all my notes. All right. So okay. So Rasulullah SAW met with Umar bin Khattab at the 8th generation. So if you see here, he's a Banu Adi. He's here is Banu Adi here, and Rasulullah is a Banu Hasim, right? And the daughter of Umar, which is Hafsa, is one of our mothers, Ummahatul Mu'minin, right? And then that's another relationship to Rasulullah SAW. Another relationship to Rasulullah SAW is that Kulthum, which is the daughter of Fatima, which is the granddaughter of Rasulullah SAW, actually married to Umar bin Khattab. So it's quite a gap, age gap as well. That was, I think, 2 years or 3 years before Umar bin Khattab passed away. So they give birth to two. Kulthum actually had one daughter and one son from Umar, and I will tell you about the story about later on. And Umar has so many children. I just picked two here. The famous one, Hafsa Radhi'Allah Anha, which is one of our mothers, Ummahatul Mu'minin, Mu'minin. And then another son is Abdullah ibn Umar. Abdullah ibn Umar is one of the, I think, one of the biggest scholars as well among the Sahaba. There's Abdullah. There's, I think, 3 or 4 Abdullah. Abdullah bin Umar, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Abdullah bin Abbas, and Abdullah bin Amr bin Ash. There's a 4 Abdullah. They're very famous. They all have a specialty. They have probably like the ulama around the Sahabat. So Abdullah bin Umar is one of them. Abdullah and Hafsa, they come from the same mother as well, so they have a full brother and sister. Is that? Where's my note on that? Okay. Why Umar bin Khattab married to Kulthum? It was originally Umar asked the hand of marriage Kulthum to Ali because there was a hadith Rasulullah mentions everything, every relationship, every cause in this world will be severe in the hereafter, except my cause and my relationship. So because of that, he wanted to establish a relationship with our Prophet. So that's why he married the granddaughter of Rasulullah. So that's the main reason. All right. So this, and this is, I didn't capture all the sons because I could not link which one of the from the mother. But one of the things I want to highlight to you is obviously Abdullah and Hafsa. They're the most famous one. And then if you know one of the, I think the eighth Caliph from the Umayyad, which is Umar bin Abdul Aziz, is actually the great grandson of Umar bin Khattab. Right? This is Umar. His father is Abdul Aziz bin Marwan, but the mother is Laila, and Laila is actually the daughter of Asim. I don't know whether you remember this story. One of the things that Umar bin Khattab used to do every single night is to do a night excursion. So he went out and to find out is there anyone needs some help. This is really a true leader, right? And he find out if anyone needs some help. So he went up far away from Medina, outside of the city sometimes. And then one night he was just walking around, and it was probably 2 or 3 o'clock or something like that. He was very tired, and it was while he was sitting there. There was a house, and there was a conversation between a mother and a daughter. And they're actually selling milk for the following morning. So they're preparing milk, right? When they prepare milk, and then the mother said to the daughter, because they couldn't see it, because it's just, but at that time probably the house is not as big as the big wall like we have, what we have today. So they have this conversation. They put this and put that, and I said, just pour some water, so you would dilute the milk. So that means we can sell more, right? And then you know what the lady said, the daughter says, no, don't do that, because Umar bin Khattab says we cannot do this. We have to be honest and selling and everything. Umar was one, during his caliphate, he actually have like a market patrol for everyone in the market. They teach them Sharia first before they can sell and buy. So this is how one of the sort of government legacy, the political legacy of Umar bin Khattab, how he established everything, right? Including making sure that the market is only people who have understand Sharia to do sell and buy. And then, no, why we do have to do that? Umar is not here, right? Why he will not know then? But the Rob of Umar knows, right? And then Umar was just outside, and he was listening to this conversation, and he talked to Asam, his servant, mark this house. And he went home, called all his sons. Whatever of you needs a wife, go and marry that lady, right? He hasn't seen her yet, right? But he knows that she has faith in Allah. Marry that lady. If you don't want to do it, I'll do it, right? And that is Asim, which is a son of Umar, actually married that lady, and they both have a daughter of Laila, and Laila have a son of Umar bin Abdul Aziz. So this is one of the blessings of Umar bin Khattab. Yeah. So it's a great family. Abdullah bin, why Abdurrahman Akbar? I just found that they have actually 4 Abdurrahman or 3 Abdurrahman, the name of the sons of Umar bin Khattab Radhi'Allah Annhu. All right. Sorry about that. I have to check my notes whether I have covered everything. Okay, I want to tell stories about Kulthum. Kulthum was, I think, it was Zaid. One of the sons is Zaid. Zaid Radhi'Allah Annhu. Is it Radhi'Allah? No, probably not, because it's Zatabi'in. Zaid was involved in the brawl in Medina at the time. There was a brawl between families and stuff. There was a fight, and then Zaid was actually hit very hard, and he died right away. And Kulthum was so sad. He was really struck by the sadness, and she passed away. So the son and the mother passed away on the same day, and then they have to bury that. So they don't live very long actually. Okay? So there's the story of Kulthum. All right. Nickname Al Faruq. Everyone has heard that before. Let me tell you the stories why he was named Al Faruq. The Faruq means, anyone can guess what Faruq means? From the word Furqan, right? Furqan, the difference between, if I check the dictionary, the Al Faruq is discriminator. Right? So probably not the right, but can distinguish between right and wrong. He was named, he embraced Islam during the 5th or the 6th years of the, and at the time after he embraced Islam, he wanted to introduce to everyone that I already embraced Islam. There's the only one within the Sahaba that is brave enough. I want to let everyone know that I'm. So he came to Rasulullah SAW, Ya Rasulullah, are we not on the right path? Are we not upon the truth? Right? Yes, of course. Even if we die, even if we live or die, we're still on upon the truth. Yes. But Rasulullah is wise now. It's not about time we have to. But for you, you can do it, right? So he went up, and then the first thing he checked is who in Mecca is the gossip monger, who likes to make gossip. And there's one person by the name of Jamil or something. He's like to make gossip or something. Okay, let me come to him first. Hey Jamil, I embrace Islam. Please tell everyone, right? So he wants it, and he went to every single sub-tribes and gathering, tell everyone that I'm Muslim, and some of them end up fighting. I like this story about this fighting story because back then when I was in university, we used to play basketball and stuff. I don't know, probably how my shape right now. You don't think I'm a basketball player, but anyway, I have this good friend, and he's very strong and stuff. So if normally students, right, when after playing basketball end up in brawl and fighting and so on, my friend, he has a tactic. So if there is a brawl, if there's a fight, he pick up one person and just beat him. And he doesn't care anyone else beat him. I said, just beat the one. So he beat me, I'll kill your friend. Right there. And then everyone will stop. So then I just realized when I read the stories about Umar ibn Khattab, when he came to the gathering and he says, I'm embrace Islam, and people get upset and so on, and they jump into him, and then there was fighting and everything, and he pick up the elders, one among them, and then punch this person, so that everyone will stop, right? And then they go from one another, because he still have these gira, right? These very strong physicals and everything. He's the only one. Ali bin Abi Talib say, during the migration, the hijrah to Medina, everyone doing it secretively, right? Everyone at night, different with Umar. Umar went to every single gathering of Quraysh, says, any one of you who wants your mother losing their child, who want their children become orphans, and who want their wives become widow, meet me at the valley. I'm going tomorrow, okay? Right? So he's the only person who's doing that, mashallah. He's a really great, brave, right? It's different when someone, what do you call it, the bluffing. It's different with someone who knows his strength, right? So Umar bin Khattab is the one who knows his strength, right? And it's amazingly, I think one of the famous phrase from Umar bin Khattab is, if someone annoy Rasulullah SAW, or someone did something terrible to Rasulullah SAW, he would just, Rasulullah, allow me, right? Allow me to take out, right? But when he was a caliph, how many people that he actually chopped? No, it's not. It's different. I'll get to that later on. This is about when Umar bin Khattab Radhi'Allah Annhu look at Rasulullah, allow me to do this. He's actually seeking permission. Is it allowed in Islam or not? Right? So if Rasulullah give permission, that means allowed. So it's always everything we get come across something. This is again one of the blessing, one of the hikmah is that every time that we want to do something, check first whether is it allowed by Rasulullah or not. Right? And again, this is always the mentality of Umar bin Khattab. His kunya is Abu Hafsa. Abu Hafsa means the father of Hafsa. He didn't have a son by the name of Hafsa. Sorry, Abu Hafs. Sorry, it's a typo. Hafs is a guy's name and the girl's name is Hafsa. So it's actually Abu Hafs. But because the daughter is Hafsa. He is blessed with knowledge, as I mentioned to you. The Rasulullah saw in a dream a milk, and then we gave to Umar bin Khattab, and everyone says, what is this milk represent to? Is knowledge. So he has the knowledge, and from sociology point of view, from politics point of view, from all this knowledge. And there was actually a saying from Abdullah bin Mas'ud Radhi'Allah Annhu. He said, if the knowledge of Umar bin Khattab put in one scale And then everyone else on the other scale is still the weight of the knowledge of Umar outnumber everything, right? So this is really, if you look at how he conquers and lead and everything in during his reign, is just mind blowing. In the book of the 100 people who have influence, the most influential, I think he's ranked 57 or something. Yeah, and yeah. He's also one of the 10 people promised Jannah, right? So everyone should know about that. One of the 10 people promised Jannah. And why is actually, there's one hadith that mentions all the 10 people from Umar bin Khattab, the four Caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar bin Khattab, Uthman, Ali, and then Abdurrahman bin Auf, Sa'ad bin Abu Waqqas, Said bin Zaid, and so on. There's all 10 of them. All right, and then he also been called Amirul Mu'minin because at that time when Abu Bakr became Khalif, people call him Khalifatul Rasulullah, Khalifatul Rasulullah, the successor of Rasulullah. And then when Umar bin Khattab became Khalif, people call him Khalifatul Rasulullah. And then no, it has to stop because otherwise my successor will be called Khalifatul Rasulullah. So become Amirul Mu'minin. All right, this the lineage and some of the titles. Let's go to some of the life events of Umar bin Khattab Radhi'Allah Annhu. Let's start with the physical appearance. As I mentioned to you, he's strong, muscular, with a big beard, heavy beard, probably like Brother Adil there. And then always but without henna. What do you call henna? Is it henna? Henna. Henna, right? Henna. Yeah? He used to wear the henna and then a big mustache as well. So sometimes he likes to do like most people do if they have a mustache. They'll scroll it and stuff like that. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. A strong personality. What I mean strong personality meaning he get his huge influence to his sub-tribe. During the Battle of Badr, for example, everyone in the Quraysh and Makkah Quraysh, every single tribe has to, sub-tribe of Quraysh have to send representative in Badr. Even the husband of Zainab, which is the son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad SAW, even went to the battle. Abu al-As even have to go fight with the Muslim, right? But the only sub-tribe that didn't go to war, to battle, was the Banu Adi. None from the Banu Adi, because the strong of the Umar bin Khattab is a huge influence to his sub-tribe. He's a strong. He's fond of wrestling, so obviously he likes martial art. You call it these days. It was and he himself is actually a master of the wrestling as well. And again, knowledge, right? Knowledge. He's learned read and write, so he knows how to read, he knows how to write, and he regularly attend a gathering of poetry. So he likes to attend poetry, so he understands it. And at the time, during that time, is probably someone who have knowledge of reading and writing is very, very rare. So it is very rare. So it is because of his keenness of learning. All right, he embraced Islam during the 6th year of the Makkah time. He was originally I had a very interesting experience. I was in WhatsApp chat with my father yesterday or 2 days ago, and as what are you up to? And now I'm preparing something for Umar bin Khattab. Wow, what a coincidence! I just gave a lecture about Umar bin Khattab as well. My father said, "Oh, really? Okay, let me send you some the clips, not the clips, the slide that I presented. Okay, send me through." Right. So I was reading, and I found something. Like, you know the stories. I don't know whether you heard this before. Like Umar bin Khattab during his Jahiliyyah time killed his own daughter. I don't know whether you heard that before. And then how he was a drunkard and stuff like that. Apparently, you will not find that in the source of the Sunni Muslim. You will not find them. But you will find them on the other strand of Islam. And it is, we have to be very careful about it. And I found that in my father's note actually, that he was a drunkard and stuff like that, and then like to, he's not actually. Why he liked to, he hated Muslims at that time for one reason, because he thinks this religion is splitting people, right? And then some people, some parents split with their children, the wife and husband split. What is this religion? Why are you introducing? We have been very calm, and we've been in a honky dory and fine everything. Why this Muhammad guy, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, introducing all this, right? So it's splitting the people, the society. That's why he hated it, right? So that's why he got upset and everything. So it's not because of understanding the religion, and then he quit. Then we'll come to that later on, when how he embraced Islam. So people started leaving Mecca to go to Abyssinia, and then people start leaving, and they found some of them and said, oh, where are you guys going? We're going there. Why? Oh, there's so much persecution in here, and even you harm us as well, you beat us and stuff like that. So this is the first time he actually saw gentleness, and then, okay, I think I'm probably a bit too hard to other people. And then he, this is where he set up, okay, I want to kill this guy because, and then someone stopped him. Why you want to do that to even your own family embrace Islam? It was Fatima, his own sister, and Said bin Zaid. Said bin Zaid is one of the 10 Ashara Mubashara, 10 of the 10 people were promised Jannah. So even your family embrace Islam. So that's why he came to knock on Fatima's house, and they found them reading something. You heard this story before, right? And reading something, and it says, "What are you reading?" No, I'm not going to show you. And then everything escalated, and he actually punched his own sister. It was blood and everything, and until he calmed down after that. Basically, what is actually you guys doing? Now we're reading this, and then can you show it to me? And no, you're so filthy. And then he went on and washed and come back again. How about now, right? Can you show it to me? So there was, I think you know, this is Surat Toha. Surat Toha is one of my favorite surah as well. You will not find me reciting Quran in most of the classes, because sometimes I get carried away. But Surah Toha is really amazing. If you look at that, if you try to read the tafsir of Surah Toha, so he read this Toha. He's the one who has knowledge. Toha ma anzalna alaika al-Qur'ana litasqa. We did not send the Quran for you to become a burden, to become a problem, to become problematic to you. This is people who have taqwa, who have yakhsa, who have, and then he continue reading it, and he continue reading it, until he find innani anallahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budani wa aqimis salati lizi. And he was dumbfounded, and he says, is it what people running away from? So this Quran enters the heart of Umar ibn Khattab, and from then on, it says, okay, where is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Right, he's in the Darul Arqam, and he went there. Everyone was so scared, and there was Hamza. Hamza actually embraced Islam 3 days before, and then Hamza came in, and I want to talk to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, okay, and what brings you here today, ya Ibn Khattab? And Umar bin Khattab says, I'm the man who want to say that I believe in Allah and believe in His messenger. Rasulullah says, Allahu Akbar. And it was, at the time, Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, it was really victorious for everyone. So his brother Adil mentioned before, is bring izzah, he brings happiness to a lot of people. And this is the answer of the dua of Rasulullah. Rasulullah asked of one of the Amr, which is one is Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl, his name is actually Amr bin Hisam. This is also Amr. So Rasulullah asked, Ya Allah, bring izzah to this ummah from one of the two that you love the most, right? And again, if you see this, you remember who's this the parliament, the member of parliament from Holland for Netherlands, and he was funding the video about hatred against Rasulullah SAW. Yeah, and then he embraced Islam and everything, right? So while a lot of people went to the street burning tires and stuff like that, I think this is the people have the quality. Some of the people are. I think one of the things that we need to learn. I think one of them probably I'm going to tell you about Umar bin Wahab, for example. There's so many people they hate Islam, not because of they know Islam, because this is the Islam of the Fox News versions or whatever the media version. They don't hate Islam. They hate the version of Islam that is being bombarded by the media. If they really know about Islam, they probably can believe it, right? And again, Umar ibn Khattab, why he had the Muslim at the time, we think that these people are just splitting the ummah, and when he listened to the Quran, this is what people are running away from, right? And again, this is very, very one of the amazing stories of because prior to that, I can't remember the name. The name has escaped my mind right now. He mentioned there was because people when they're living Medina, they're living Makkah and going to Abyssinia. I can see the tenderness of Umar. Umar, no, he will not embrace Islam after his donkey or something. So if he has a donkey, his donkey probably embraced Islam first before him. So this is even people say that to him because the nature of Umar bin Khattab is harsh. So he finally embraced Islam, and it was really victorious for the Muslims at the time. I told these stories before, how he's so keen of explaining to people that I'm embracing Islam, while some of us are still keen to show that we're Muslims. Completely different with Umar bin Khattab. He has pride. So whenever he chose something, that's why when you have Islam given to you, or Islam something that you choose, if you choose to be Muslim, you should be proud of, right? You have to be proud of, because it's what people choose their own football team, they'll be proud of the football team anyway. They're wearing the the jerseys and everything, right? All right. I told these stories about the fights broke out, and at the time Umar bin Khattab says, let tell all the people in Quraysh that we are the Muslims, and then he went in two rows, one row led by Umar bin Khattab, another row led by Hamza, and from then on, Rasulullah SAW called him Al-Faruq. All right. Okay, the story of his hijrah, I also mentioned it to you. I jumped the gun before, so as Ali bin Abi Talib mentioned, that everyone who went to Medina, they went secretly, except for Umar. Right? Who wants their mother losing their children? Subhanallah. It's beautiful. Now, this is very amazing. I don't know whether you heard this. I think you probably have heard this. Hudayfa bin Yaman, Radhi'Allah Annhu, he was nicknamed as the keeper of the secret of Rasulullah SAW. So during the time of Medina, Rasulullah was, it was revealed to Rasulullah SAW, these are all the munafiq, all the hypocrites, all right? And Rasulullah did not tell anyone except Hudayfa. Did not tell anyone except Hudayfa. And this is so how the quality of Umar bin Khattab, subhanallah. When he found out that Hudayfa knows all the hypocrites in Medina, he came to Hudayfa and asked, who's in the list? No, he didn't ask that. He asked, am I in that list? Subhanallah. Am I in that list? It's a completely different to how we're doing right now. If we find something, we always try to blame people, finger pointing. Look at the media right now. Look at the social media. How easily people blame this, kafir, that, and they are wicked, they are astray. It's so easy. Look at Umar bin Khattab. When he found out Hudayfa has the knowledge of some from Rasulullah who is the hypocrite, he's the first time he asks, am I in that list? What is the blessing of all of this? What is it? Why? If this is mentioned to Hudayfa, think about it. If this is mentioned to Hudayfa and then he's not meant to tell to anyone, what is the purpose of this? It seems to be no purpose, right? Is a hadith has to be mentioned, but he's actually kept secret. You know why? Because at the time when Umar ibn Khattab became governor, he has a special political decision that every place will only have the governor maximum 2 years. This is one of his decisions, right? So when he chose the governors to go to, one is the Kufa, who went to Busra, who went to the Sham and so on. When he chose the governor there, at the time Rasulullah was already passed away, when he chose who become the governor, and after he chose that, he went to Hudayfa. Yeah, Hudayfa, I just elected this become governors. Is there anyone in your list? Yes. Okay, I go again and restructure the whole governors and come back again. Hudayfa, I pick this. Anyone in that list? No. Alhamdulillah. So that is the blessing. So this is Hudayfa was given the secret of hypocrites. Why? Because, and then it's not even revealed to us. No one knows about that, right? Who's the hypocrites, right? So that means we have to follow Umar bin Khattab, right? What I mean is, if someone has that, you first check yourself. And sometimes we say we found a hadith, the first thing we have to do is to share. Like, it's not for us, it's for other people, right? But if this is a reminder, we check ourselves first, right? So sometimes I get carried away. It's already 7. All right. Umar bin Khattab mentioned that Allah agreed with me 3 times, at least 3 times, right? One of them is at the Battle of Badr, where they have about 70 prisoners of war. And then Rasulullah SAW asks, and again Rasulullah likes consultation, right? Even though he's a prophet and everything, but he always likes to ask. And he asks, what should I do with these 70 people? And Abu Bakr says, save them, and probably we can keep them and so on, right? And he asks Umar bin Khattab, what we should do with the 70? Execute them. And then Rasulullah actually in favor of Abu Bakr decision, but then the Quran was revealed that you should not be forgiving them, we should be executing them, because at that time the Muslim was still small, right? So you have the power to actually execute people, but then you forgive. This is what Islam is, right? To forgive someone who deserves to be forgiven, that's normal, anyone can do. But to forgive someone who doesn't deserve to be forgiven, that's Islam, right? Like, for example, I like sometimes to tip taxi driver, right? But sometimes I challenge myself. If the taxi driver nice, speak English to me and everything, I tip a little bit more. But if the taxi driver is probably quiet and just slam the door and stuff like that, I don't tip him. I change it now, right? To tip someone who deserves to be tipped is easy. Everyone can do that. But to tip someone, anyway, this is just my, it's not a hadith. All right, Alhamdulillah. All right, the second part is about the ayah of hijab, right? 2 things. When Quran say hijab, is not hijab what we have right now. Hijab is the veiling, like a what do you call that? Like a purdah, like a barrier. So I think at the time was Saudah Radhi'Allah Anha. She went out from time to time. They have to go to the toilet, but the toilet is not near the house. They have to walk. So Umar bin Khattab recognizes as Saudah and then come to Rasulullah, tell your wives to put the veiling and everything, and the ayah was sent down for that. So, and again, and what's the third one? The third one was when Abdullah ibn, who's the head of the hypocrite? Abdullah bin Abdullah bin Salul, right? When his son asked and to make dua for his father, And then Umar bin Khattab actually stopped him not to do that, right? Because, and then Rasulullah said, even 70 times, I will do that 70. So I think few times I captured that there's three words. Let me get that. Agree to me in 3 times. Where is my note? Sorry. And the third one, yeah, the captains of the Badr, and then he also mentions about, he asked Rasulullah, I wish we can pray near the Maqam of Ibrahim, the Maqam Ibrahim, not Maqam, the Maqam Ibrahim near. If you do tawaf or if you do Hajj or Umrah, after you do the tawaf, you have to do two rakah behind the Maqam Ibrahim. That's actually his request, and Allah granted it. So Allah agrees with him 2 times. The conversions of Umayr bin Wahab. I want to tell you this story. This is after the Battle of Badr. After the Battle of Badr, everyone, they lost a lot of all the big names. Abu Jahl died there, right? And Abu Lahab did not join actually. He's actually actually was scared. He didn't join. But all of the big names, Mughira also died in there. A lot of the owner of Bilal, Umayyah bin Khalaf, actually died there as well. And then this Umar bin Wahab was talking, I had enough with this guy, I want to kill him, right? So he was in Mecca, and then someone came to me, okay, if you go and kill him, if you die or anything like that, I will cover your family, don't worry, right? So Umar bin Wahab get his sword ready and prepare everything ready, right? And he went all the way to Medina, right? And when he reached Medina, because at the time his reason was, I want to give a ransom for my family member to be released. That's his reason. But Umar bin Khattab know right away. He has this sense that there's something going wrong. But nevertheless, he came, I want to meet the Prophet, I want to meet Muhammad. Of course he said that because he didn't believe that it was a prophet. Then Umar bin Wahab said, okay, I want to see. And then, why you bring your sword? Rasulullah said, no, what is this sword? You won Badr anyway. There's nothing to do with you, right? But I come here to rescue my brother, whatever you keep hostage. And then Rasulullah said, no, you came here not for that. You came here after talking to your friend, this, and he detailed every single thing. And Umar bin Wahab was, Asadu an la ilaha illallah, Asadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is a person, Umar bin Wahab, who lived and everything in around 40, 50 years during the time of Rasulullah. He saw Rasulullah, but he didn't know Islam was the truth until that moment. That says, there's no way anyone knows about these stories. I just told it secretly. It was me. Right after the story, I kept everything and went to Medina. There's no way, no one, unless someone told you, it might not be from anyone. So because of that, he believed that Islam is true, just like that. So there's so many people, even though people around us, they see the news about Islam, they don't know Islam for true. I think that's why, and I'm guilty of not doing straight da'wah for some time as well. Yeah, I get something anyway. I get my reason anyway. Yeah. Again, a lot of people actually they know Islam from the incorrect sources, right? So Umar bin Wahab, the person who lived in Medina, Mecca, saw Rasulullah, saw the beauty of Rasulullah, saw Al-Amin and everything. He still didn't believe Islam the truth until that moment. So it's still an opportunity for us to see people around us to know the real Islam. There's a hadith about Rasulullah was holding hands with Umar bin Khattab, and it says, I love you, Ya Rasulullah, and even more than yourself. No, not more than myself. So he went away. And Rasulullah says, no one become a believer until he loved me more than anything else, even yourself. So the first thing, you have to love Allah, and then love our Prophet, and then love your parents. This is the order, right? The order. And Umar bin Khattab checked himself. No, if I'm not being rescued by Allah and through His messengers, I'll be gone, right? So he came back, Ya Rasulullah, I love you more than I love myself. Now you are the believer, Umar. And during the time of Caliph Abu Bakr, he was the trusted advisor. I think I still have a few pages to go. This is a good story. Ashara Mubasara, or 10 people promised Jannah, is one thing. This is again, Rasulullah SAW had a dream. The dream of a prophet is true. And within that dream, Rasulullah was look at a big castle, big palace. And Rasulullah SAW asked, whose castle is it? It belongs to Umar. And Rasulullah was so tempted to actually go inside the castle, but then he stopped and then came back. And he says, I know because, and he told these stories, I know you gira, yeah, Umar. You must be a bit upset if I come and check out your place, right? Something like that. Ya Rasulullah, subhanallah, no way I'm going to be like that. Right? So he was a big, how big is this palace that even Rasulullah SAW wanted to see, right? How big is this palace? So inshallah one day, we we asked Umar ibn Khattab to invite us to this palace, inshallah. Remember that, inshallah. And Umar ibn Khattab is the one of the person who, I forgot to tell a story. Before before he asked the hand of Kulthum from Ali bin Abi Talib, he actually asked one of the another daughter of Abu Bakr, which is the sisters of Asma, of not Asma, sister of Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha. And he was asking, can I marry you and stuff like that, and he says, no, I don't want to marry Umar. And then, he's Amirul Mu'mineen, why don't you marry him? He's Amirul Mu'mineen. He lives too frugal life. He lives a very simple life. He just only have two clothes or something. One is wearing, and then there's sometimes even a lot of patches and everything. If you remember the story where Jerusalem was actually captured by the Muslim army, and then the head of the church and whatnot, they asked, I don't want to give this key until Umar ibn Khattab came himself. And he came all the way with his servant, two of them, one camel. They cannot afford two camels. Think about it. They cannot afford two camels. He was the land that he conquered across the Sassanid Empire and Byzantine Empire is actually huge. The money and the wealth are coming in. They don't have to. This is the frugal life of Umar bin Khattab. So one day, he came, and Rasulullah was a bit surprised because the clothes is so clean, so nice. Rasulullah asked, "Ya Umar, is it the new clothes or you just wash it?" And he said, "I just wash it, Ya Rasulullah." And Rasulullah make dua, "May Allah give you new clothes, and may Allah make you die as a Sahid." Subhanallah. And again, I've told you this as well, right? And this is people making. People said, sometimes people they say that Umar bin Khattab is a bit harass, a bit here, and Rasulullah defended him and says he never walked in a path where Satan see it and then will go around, right? So, and what is your feedback to that? It's very amazing. So, in order for you to no, probably not, probably some other time, not on camera. All right, let me check my note. Okay. He died at the age of 63, as I mentioned before. And he actually died in the hand of a non-Muslim. Why non-Muslim in Medina? Non-Muslim. Abu Lukluk was actually from Persia. He was a what is the fire worshipper? Zoroastrian. Yeah, Zoroastrian. So he was actually Zoroastrian, and he was the slave of Mughira. I think there's a Ansar name by the name of Mughira. And because he had a special talent, I think he made daggers and stuff like that. He has a special talent. That's why he was allowed to stay in Medina. And he's the one who was actually why he killed Umar bin Khattab was there was a different opinion to that. One of them because his empire, which is where he belongs to, was actually collapsed during the time of Umar. So he has this revenge. So he killed Umar bin Khattab while he was getting ready to pray Fajr. If you think about it, Umar ibn Khattab died during the Fajr prayer. Ali bin Abi Talib also during Fajr prayer, and he was stabbed, and it was a big, actually a big cut, and he collapsed, and there was blood and coming, and I think he was, after 3 or 4 hours he went back to conscious again. He couldn't even say. There's a big hole in the stomach. He was cut in the shoulders and the stomach, and he woke up, and then he was, and then he right away wanted to do salah. It's Zuhur time. I want to salah. Yeah, Amirul Mu'minin, it's a big hole in your head, no, in your tummy. Do I have? Oh, still for another 15 minutes. Rasulullah SAW was buried at the house of Aisha, right? So, and the next to it is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and there is one left. And Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha actually planned for her to be buried there, next to his father, and next to his husband, her father and husband. Sorry, her father and husband. So she actually planned to have that as a. And Umar bin Khattab, before he passed away, he sent Abdullah bin Umar to talk to Aisha, Ya Mu'minin, will you allow Umar bin Khattab to be buried here? And Aisha says, yes. And Aisha think about it, and then she allow it. But when the blood is still going out and he knows that he's going to die, he asks again Abdullah bin Umar, go and ask Aisha, but this time don't tell her from Amirul Mu'minin, tell her from Umar, just to check to make sure, right? It's a great humbleness from Umar bin Khattab. No, I'm not Amirul Mu'minin, right? I'm gonna be Amirul Mu'minin. And Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha, she actually prepared for her, and it's a huge sacrifice for Aisha. Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha, I had a class of Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha, it's actually four times 2 hours, 6 hours. What Aisha is one of the good thing about, I don't know whether in that lecture that you sent today about Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha, one of the blessings of Aisha Radhi'Allah Anha is Jibril only came down to Rasulullah SAW when he was at the house of Aisha, right, during Medina time. Subhanallah. So this is a great sacrifice. And the slender of Aisha, for example, there was only 3 Muslims who actually make of this slender, and one of them Hassan bin Thabit, and she forgave them all the way. When they were ready to bury Umar bin Khattab, Ali mentioned, this is very, very profound actually, when he said, Ya Umar, there is no one left in this world that I would prefer to die with their deeds, right? Means he's praising the deeds of Umar bin Khattab. For verily, I always heard Rasulullah says, I was with Umar, I was with Abu Bakr, I was with Abu Bakr, I was with Umar, and I'm very sure when you die, you're always going to be with them as well. And at the time, Abdullah has not come back from Aisha yet, that Aisha allow him to be buried next to the Rasulullah SAW and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. All right, just some snippets of the stories of his being caliphate. How he was appointed. You asked last time, Brother Omar, how we chose our leader in Islam. Umar was actually directly appointed by Abu Bakr. He sort of hinted it. And again, because so many times, few reasons. One of the reasons is Rasulullah always say, there's a hadith, a lot of hadith says, I was with Abu Bakr, I was with Umar bin Khattab. Everyone sort of know that's Umar bin Khattab. When there was a battle of Uhud, for example, and when the Muslims were defeated, Abu Sufyan yelled from the others, is Muhammad still alive? No, of course he didn't say Rasulullah SAW. And he's just checking, and after that, is Abu Bakr still alive? And and Umar is still alive. Everyone, even the enemies know the rank. Rasulullah SAW, Abu Bakr, and Umar. Right? So many blessings. And Umar bin Khattab was the only one, I believe he's the only one who led the prayer after Abu Bakr. So I think one of the signs of a good Muslim leader is they lead the prayer, right? So if they lead the prayer, if the presidential mosque or something, they have to lead the prayer 5 times prayer. So one of the signs of the good leader of the Muslim is they lead the prayer. He ruled for 10 years. He ruled for 10 years. During his Caliphah, I'll tell you this story is about where this is the importance of the pledge of Hudaybiyah. Yeah, Hudaybiyah. When during, again, this is one of the problems in our Ummah here. After the demise of Rasulullah SAW, and it was actually in Surat Al-Fath, right? Inna fatahna laka fathan mubina. No, there's another one. I can't remember on top of my head right now. That hadha sajara, tahta sajara. I remember the tahta sajara. You make a bay'at. You and all the mu'min make bay'at, and Allah have pleased with you mu'min. Allah called them mu'min under the tree. Right? So the word under the tree. Because of that, during the time of Khalifah of Umar bin Khattab, people come to that tree and make tawaf, make salah and stuff like that, right? So become like a grave worshipper. So in this time is only they use tree. Umar bin Khattab, knowing that, and we just ordered to cut the tree. And I don't know whether you know, back in 1974, 1960 or something, when a lot of people went for Hajj, and people know this one of the columns, one of the pillars within the masjid or something. People say this is where the burak was tied or something. And a lot of Jama, the Hajj, when they went there, they robbed theirs, right? They robbed theirs. And because of that, the government just demolished that, right? And if you see, I've seen in my own eyes as well, like Maqam Ibrahim, when people make tawaf and they saw Maqam Ibrahim, they're like, so it's Safa Marwa. They put in 4 different languages, Arabic, English, Indonesian as well. They put, do not worship here. This is not a place of worship, and so on, right? People, and again, this is the weakness of even the story of Musa alayhi salam, right? The minute he left, and everyone just worship the cows, right? And again, this is people who have high spirituality but low intellectuality. Yeah. Because of that, he just cut down the tree. Is recorded in Surah. Oh, I have that record in here. Prophet ﷺ never said it's a holy tree. So people come there to salah near the tree, and think about it. I want to make a point here. When Umar bin Khattab became the Caliph, who's actually his leading? Most of the, if not 80%, 70%, they're all still Sahaba, right? They're all Sahaba, and even they are all the best generation. How Umar bin Khattab protect that he didn't want people to fall into bid'ah, into shirk, right? The minute people play around with the tree, cut the tree, right? And I think there is people who always is like, I don't know whether it's the right forum to say that. People say at the time when they demolished the pillars of you Wahhabi and everything, so it's not like Wahhabi, I call it, this is Umari, right? Right, there's Umar bin Khattab actually the first time who first do that. This is one of my best stories as well. Khalid bin Walid, every time, Khalid bin Walid in his deathbed, he's showing, look at my scars, every inch of my body, there's a scars, there's wound, everything. I wish I die as a martyr. You don't know, Khalid. You are Saifullah. You're the sword of Allah. You will never break in the battle. And because every time Khalid bin Walid went into battle, always victory. And Umar bin Khattab was worried that the victory, people would think the victory coming from Khalid. He dismissed Khalid. He fired him as a commanding general right away. And again, who is dealing with? He's a Sahaba. A lot of people are still Sahaba. 80%, most people are Sahaba, just to protect. And then we say sometimes we just easily we go there. It's not affecting our faith and everything. Look at Umar ibn Khattab, how he want to protect the faith. The people will not fall into shirk. People will not even think that the victory comes because of Khalid. This is the first thing they just cut. They remove that. This is Subhanallah. This is Umar ibn Khattab. I wish one day we had leaders like that. Who is Khalid? Honorable, trustworthy, great skill, ability, and victory after victory, because he's Saifullah. Well, he's the sword of Allah. And again, he has a fear of people fall in love with the character, with him, and make him larger than life. I don't want to give an example right now, but about 6 months, 8 months ago, we have a general elections in Indonesia. The thing is, falling in love in political figure is something that's our weakness as well. Yeah? There's someone who has victories one after another, do this and that, so suddenly people fall in love with them. Right? We have only fall in love with someone for the sake of Allah. And this is what Umar was worried about. And who's Khalid? Khalid is a great Sahaba as well. But we cannot fall in love. Don't make him larger than life. And then back then, and especially with the campaign and everything, one of the candidates was almost like, oh, this candidate, the Tahajjud, everything about him is like a prophet. Right? And it is quite common. And then if you see right now, right, all the postings and everything is just people idolize that. There are 3 types of celebrity right now. Either celebrity, a sports celebrity, or entertainment celebrity, and politics celebrity. And people fall in love with them. So probably in separate discussion, why falling in love is actually part of worship. That's probably a different topic altogether. All right. Will you carry my sins? You know this story? One of the habit of Umar bin Khattab is a night excursion. So one day he was with Aslam and went out at the very edge of Medina, and he saw a lady with the crying babies. And I said, what's happening to you? And I said, I have babies, and what are you cooking? I have nothing to cook, but I want to boil this water so my crying babies or my crying children would think I was cooking something. And I said, and the lady said, and I blame this on Umar. And why Umar? He didn't know about this. It was at the time it was Umar. There was no Twitter at the time, so people will know what Umar looked like. There's no Facebook or anything. People will not know what Umar looks like. It was actually him. And it says, why are you doing this? Why you think Umar? No, Umar, Allah gave him responsibility to look after us, and he didn't look after us. Look at Umar. He's the leader he's Amirul Mu'minin. He's the leader of the huge area. And then the minute they says, I want to complain to Allah about Umar, the minute he said, the lady said that, he was struck. And then he went back all the way to Baitul Mal and pick up whatever he needs to pick up, the food and everything. And then he carried that his own back. And he was probably, 61, 62, 60 years old. And he carried his own back. And then his servant Aslam says, yeah, Amirul Mu'minin, let me carry some. Let me help you. No, you will not carry my sin in the hereafter. Subhanallah. Right now, I don't know whether you heard about what happened in Indonesia right now, about the haze, the fog, it's actually my home province, where people burning smokes and stuff. A lot of people, I just got a message from one of my cousin that a lot of people have breathing problems and everything. Look, all what happened to the leaders. When they visit, they stay in the 5-star hotel. All right, these are the leaders that we chose. Right? It's different, but Umar, different. Right? He's not responsible to the parliament. He's not responsible to sahabas. He's responsible to Allah. The minute he says, I will see you in front of Allah, he just got scared. Right? So that is, you see, someone who very strong, and the minute you say Allah, no, You don't mess up with him. Right? All right. Yes, I have. Umar has authority over us. Ran, collect the food and carry all back. And the lady says after that he came to the tent, cook, prepare, and waited until the kids wake up and ate and go back to sleep. And he was just waiting there. Imagine like it's like probably like the chief executive or something doing it, right? It's like a leader, right? And then the lady finally says, "You are more deserving to be Khalif than Umar, right? Don't worry, if you find Umar, I'll be around him." Subhanallah. All right, let's close this off with legacy. I want to categorize the legacy of Umar into three. The religious legacy. Who is Umar? Umar whose clothes is only two or three, and he mend his own clothes. His religious legacy is how he's humble, down to earth. And I had a message with Brother Adil earlier today. Someone who has knowledge is shown by humbleness. When you're humble, when you have knowledge and taqwa, you are more approachable. If you become alim and then someone is actually scared to talk to you, you better check something is wrong, right? If you close to Allah, you become more open. You become approachable. One of the things I have my team in my office, sometimes one of the things that I ask them, am I approachable to you from 0 to 5? How approachable am I? Do you think I'll be mad at you? Do you think this is something that my daughters as well, I'll be probably upset to you, I'll probably yell at you, but think about it, no one loves you more than I do. So you can tell me anything, right? So if you're not approachable, right, even though you're alim, you have something wrong with you, right? The humbleness make people attracted to you. So this is Umar. And he's a pious leader who did all his domestic work. He's got very low salary, not compared to living in palace and stuff. And he ride his own donkey. And then when he went to pick up the key of the palace of the Jerusalem, he just shared the ride of one camel. I'm quote here, Abdullah bin Masud mentioned, Umar conversion to Islam was a conquest. His hijrah was a victory, and his caliph was a blessing to Islam. I don't think this is exaggerating at all. So he conquered lands of the superpowers at that time. I don't know whether I can still. This is the time when he was the caliph. So the Sassanid Empire here. One of the strategy, probably just let's on. One of the strategy of Umar being he's a political genius. There's a lot of people writing about him as a political genius. One of the things is when he conquered a place, his army cannot stay in the city. So when he conquered Busra, for example, there's Ctesiphon, which is the Sassanid Empire, right? They conquer this land not for the money, not for the wealth. They conquer, you know why they conquer? Because they have the ability to spread Islam. This is what the Sahaba, their mindset conquering land is not about land. They're conquering land because they want this to be the means of introducing Islam. So what happened was all the troops after they conquered Sassanid Empire, right? They live in Kufa, which is Kufa probably about 20 kilometers away from Ctesiphon, right? And within that area, they just live in tents. They will not change their lifestyle. They will do whatever they say, but you have to pay jizya and stuff like that. But once they interact with the Muslim army and everything, they fall in love with Islam. They become Muslim. That's how they fall. That's how they do it, right? So a lot of rules defined by using the stipend, for example, the money that they distribute and everything. There's a lot of. So probably we are already running out of time. I think some of the notes here is talk about political genius. The two empires, which is Byzantine empires and Sassanid empires, was conquered during his time, is unprecedented. It's never happened before and probably never happen again. How the conquer of the land of spreading Islam to establish the first Islamic empire. Jazakumullah khair. I overrun for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Inshallah, any simple question?
Yes, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
My question is regarding innovation.
Yep.
It's difficult, right? Easy questions, yeah?
Yeah.
So sometimes we have the habit of, so if you want to read the Quran, we hold it, we kiss it, we place it on our forehead before we read it. Is this an innovation or is it acceptable?
I think I need to underline first. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a fiqh, but
Can you repeat the question?
sorry.
Can you
Oh, okay. The question is it a bid'ah to kiss Quran, right? To kiss Quran and to show respect, like, you know, when we do tawaf, you know what we do to start the tawaf is to kiss the Hajarul Aswad, the black stone. And then Rasulullah says to start the tawaf, you kiss the Hajarul Aswad, but if you cannot kiss it, you raise your hand. Right? And Umar ibn Khattab says, yeah, stone, I will not kiss you. And if I will not kiss just because I see Rasulullah kiss you, that's why I kiss you. You don't give benefit, you don't harm, you don't anything you venerate it too much, right? In this religion, you have to have example. That's probably my take. I might be wrong. Anything that you venerate so much, right? And again, what is worship in our context? So is if you love so much, if you venerate so much, you obey so much. This is all worship, and in all worship, everything is haram except what Rasulullah give an example.
Even Rasulullah himself, he said, do not over-exaggerate in your love for me.
Yes, do not exaggerate your love to me like what the Bani Israel did. They venerated me, right? They venerate the prophets, right? And again, as I mentioned to you, the first people, the shaitan introduced the shirk is the time of Nuh alayhi salam. And then from now on, people is easily they can worship anything. It's easily they see pictures. They see, if you look at some people told me 3 years ago, if you go to Guangzhou, the grave that they thought it was the Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas grave, people now circling like doing tawaf and they elevated the Quran. When you start doing that, and then the next generation, oh, my father did that, let's elevate, let's increase. Now, if you kiss one, and then your son probably kiss three, and then your other son probably kiss five. Wallahu alam. I think how we respect Quran is to 5 things you do Quran, right? One is to read it. One is to understand it. One is to memorize it. One is to practice it, and one is to make dawah about it. This is 5, right? So I don't know kissing and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah. I leave it to the fuqaha and people who understand. Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll bring you one. Connected to that, so
Yeah.
there's a misconception, not misconception, but on the topic of, for example, Taraweeh. I know it's not that time of the year, but as you know, they always compare Umar ibn Khattab and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, 20 versus 8.
Yeah.
So can you highlight on that, please?
I didn't prepare my note on that. About the number?
Like, can we follow the example of Umar ibn Khattab even if the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't do it, but Umar ibn Khattab did do it? Can we follow that example?
Now, a lot of scholars mention he didn't invent that, he just revived the Sunnah. Why was that revived? During the reign of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq Radhi'Allahu Annhu, he was busy dealing with a lot of tribes that is actually try to escape. So it's more battles and stuff like that. And because of that, not many people during Ramadan, people will do their own Taraweeh by certain group here, certain group here, certain group here, right? And if you remember the stories of Taraweeh, it was Rasulullah made a prayer, and people joined him, and then joined him as a big group. And then the second day, Rasulullah did again. The third day, on the fourth day, Rasulullah did not show up. And then people actually throw a little bit pebble, just to probably Rasulullah was asleep or something like that. And then after that, Rasulullah said, I know you're waiting for me, but the reason I didn't do that, I just want to show you that Tarawih is not mandatory, right? Now, after the demise of Rasulullah SAW, everyone already know there will be no new rules in Islam. Everyone know Tarawih is Sunnah, is Nawafil, right? It's not mandatory, it's not wajib, it's not fard. Because of that. Now, what Abu Bakr, Umar bin Khattab did was to combine everything and ask, what's his name? Ubay bin Ka'ab, I believe, asked Ubay bin Ka'ab to lead the Salah in one congregation. And it was not a bid'ah because Rasulullah did that last time when he led the congregation of only one Imam. Right?
Because they use that for bid'ah, they say this is bid'ah hasanah.
Yeah. Okay. If he said that it was bid'ah hasanah, find another examples where Umar bin Khattab create another bid'ah hasanah other than this one. You cannot find anywhere. So a lot of scholars mention, and again I'm not a scholar, a lot of scholars mention when he said this is bid'ah hasanah, it was not a Islamic terminology, but rather the actual word. The word bid'ah means to beautify, to make it nice, to so he was playing with the actual meaning, but not the technical meaning. And again, there's probably different tangent altogether. But if you look at that, if this is really bid'ah hasanah is good, then find another action, another worship that he actually invented. Find one. You will not find it. If really this is encouraged, right? So it was not encouraged. If you look at Tarawih was done during the time of Rasulullah. He just revived the Sunnah. I hope I answered that.
Yes, ma'am. Last question.
Last question.
Yeah, inshallah.
So brother, I remember you, because Umar ibn Khattab, he's known for his justice, right? He's known for his attention to making sure he is fulfilling his obligation
Yes.
as a Khalifa. And then I remember talking with you, and then you mentioned you would actually work extra hours every day to pay, or not really to pay back, but then you will work extra hours every day to make sure you fulfill your number of hours in your contract.
Okay.
Do you mind elaborating more on this?
I signed a contract with my company to work 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week. That means they have me to work, to think, to type, to whatever I need to do to build programs and stuff like that, 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week. But in my office, I have to go to toilet, I need to pray, I have my lunch break, I need my coffee break, and then I have to make sure I will not violate this. So I add 2 hours a day to make sure I will comprehend all this. So my working hour is around 9 to 6. So I come around 8 and I go home around 7, sometimes a bit more. I just want to make sure, like for example, I was provided computer at work, but I use my personal computer. Why? I rather work using my personal computer rather than using my da'wah work on my work computer. I try my best to do that. Inshallah, I'll try. Allah make me consistent. Is to make sure that I don't steal that 8 hours. Yeah? If you look at Qad aflahal mu'minun, and then there's walazina hum li amanatihim wa hadihim ra'un. Right? People who keep his amanah. My amanah is 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week. I have to make sure that I fulfill that.
Counter question to that: if you're doing what you're required to do and you have some extra time, would it be regarded as a sin upon you to do other things during that working hours?
I know what I am allowed to do, right? So, for example, it is general understanding. Of course, you can do whatever people like to do. Of course, it's not, but then you cannot work straight 3 hours, right? Sometimes I have to make a call to my lovely wife as well, right? I have to, sweetheart, if you're watching, not I have to. I love to do that.
You want to do that?
Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I need to do WhatsApps and stuff like that. of course, we're human. I cannot state I'm not robot to spend 8 hours. If I do 2 hours, that's why in the middle, all of this 10 minutes, 15 minutes toilet break and whatever break all together, that's probably add up 1 or 2 hours. That's why I add 1 hour. Make myself compulsory to actually spend 8 hours to work by adding that 2 hours.
Sorry,
Yes.
what I mean is that if you're given work
Yeah,
8 hours a day,
Yeah.
and you're told, okay, you got this task to do.
yeah,
You do those tasks in like 4 hours.
yeah,
You got 4 hours spare.
yeah.
Is it wrong for you now to do something else, like from personally, halal of
Yeah.
course?
They don't hire me by contract. They
Or,
hire.
no, you like just in general. Like
It depends on the
someone-
contract. For example, the contract says, finish this,
Yeah.
I pay you 100. If you finish this within 1 hour, 10 hours, 20 hours, it's up to you. But come here, work on this for 4 hours, I give you money. If you finish within 3 hours, he pay you for the 5 hours, not he pay you for the work. He pay you for the, because the hours is the duration of time. I'm paid by 8 hours a day that means hours. If I complete within 3 hours, this is because me, alhamdulillah, Allah bless me to finish. That means I can other things. I still have to work. I still have to be there.
No, you have to be there, but what else can you do then?
For me, a lot. I can do a lot of things.
No, his question is, should he
I can do a lot of. I can think of. Inshallah, I can think of anything else.
You can prepare for the speech.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What,
Is it has to be work related?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Uh,
what I'm saying.
for me, yes. Alhamdulillah, I can come up with things I need to do.
But would it be wrong for anyone else, like as
No,
a Muslim,
no.
would
Yeah.
it be wrong for us to do something else other than what's work related, to do something else which is still halal,
Yeah.
right?
The
Within that hours at work.
The way I understand it is the two types of contract, right? The contract based on work,
Yeah.
you paid for the work, or the contracts based on time.
Yeah.
So that means I need you to work to be here at hours,
Yeah.
then do your work at hours. But if you finish 5 hours, like it says, and then you talk, I already finished this 5 hours. If you you allow me to go, is that okay? Then I'll do that. But most of the time, always work. It's very hard to run away from work. I can always come up with something, document, enhancement, and come up with what I call as a continuous improvement. I can always come up with the continuous improvement. That's why iOS now is version 13, because of continuous improvement. There's always come up with the continuous improvement. You can always come up with that. I cannot think of we as Muslim can stop working, because there's always room for improvement.
How about you just take a break and read a Quran?
Sorry?
How about you just take a break and read a Quran?
I do that. That's why I add my 2 hours. I add my 2 hours because I do read Quran as well sometimes. Right.
Why did I?
So the sister want to ask us.
Yes.
My question is procrastination a sin? And if it is, then how badly punishable is it?
Wow. It's a very tough question, sister. I don't. If I'm not a scholar. I don't know whether procrastination is a sin. It is a bad character in Islam, and I think there's a lot of nasiha from our ulama about how to improve that. But I'm not sure, so I have to check this whether it's really sin. But as far as my remember serves me right, it is not a sin. It's just a bad habit. It's like a lazy procrastination. There's all bad habit, and it comes down to our strong will to achieve, right? If you like so much, like for example, guys, when they fall in love with girls or something like that, they never wake up at 5 o'clock, never wake up Fajr. For some reason, the girl says, I'm going to the airport 4 o'clock in the morning, can you pick me up to the airport? They wake up at 3 o'clock. Never done before, right?
Or if there's a football or cricket match.
Oh, football, cricket match, right? Why you don't do that? Because you don't love so much, because you don't like. I think that is how to change procrastination, is to change the mindset. Still? Oh, mashallah. Okay.
So, like Umar had a lot of food tracks. Yes, like his government, his
Yes.
He's not a Muslim. So, such a good man. And how come the Shia Muslims hating him so much? Why don't they?
You have to bring that in.
Remember, I mentioned to you about loving political character, right?
Yeah.
Like if you love a celebrity so much, one of the reason if you read the history of how Shia originally means Shia to Ali, which is the follower, not the follower, the the party of Ali, right? These are the people who politically they think it's not as Aqidah, right? They think Ali should be the right person to be the next Khalifa, right? And politically it's fine, it's not Aqidah, right? You can have your says or whatever it is allowed. But the minute you try to force your idea to something like that, and then suddenly become your politics become your religion, and people who take benefit of you fighting over each other, they take benefit of it, they can entice you to do even more bad things and stuff like that. Then the politics become religion for you. Once it become religion, Shia to Ali was originally political movement. It become a change of Aqidah because of that. And then once you have to change your Aqidah, that means you have to be away from the mainstream of Islam. What is the mainstream of Islam? Islam comes from few channels. The number one channel is Jibril alayhi salam. The second channel is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The other channel is Quran. The language Arabic itself is the channel. What's the other channel? Sahaba. Sahaba is the channel. This channel, how we receive the revelation is through this change of the language, the Sahaba, and everything. If you want to escape from here, you have to drop any of this. Either you drop Jibril, either you drop the easiest one is to drop the Sahaba. Then you can make your own religion. That's how, or at least wrong strand of thinking, I should say. So that's why they have to invent stories that he's to be hated, right? I think that Umar ibn Khattab was hated, and Abu Bakr is as well, right? Aisha radhi'allahu anha, and so on. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The one, the one, the one, the one.